The host of Daniel Davis Deep Dive on YouTube. Your assessment of that devastating Gaza hospital blast we saw yesterday.
Well, I think that's crucial that we do find out in some way authoritatively, if at all possible, because there's conflicting reports. There's also conflicting evidence because like the Palestinian rockets that they use are generally not powerful enough to cause such an explosion like that of that magnitude, whereas the Israeli ones are. But then we have this alleged, video showing that, so that it didn't come from Israel. So who knows? But as Richard Engel said, as far as the Arab public goes, it doesn't matter because no one will believe the Israeli side, and they all are believing that it was actually launched by Israel against the Palestinian people. And I also agree with Richard that this could be an inflection point. And I think this is really, really crucial because it already caused problems diplomatically with both Egypt and with Jordan. And if this spreads into Hezbollah, if they get so angry that they take action, then it could open up a second front on the Israeli war before they even launch into Gaza, making this extremely difficult.
Yeah, I mean, I want to ask further, just how could it impact the fighting going forward, keeping in mind, I guess we don't know definitively which side is responsible, but could it change anyone's tactics or strategy at this point?
Well, what it has immediately done is that it has severed any possibility that Biden's personal visit here to maybe get Egypt to open their borders so that they could allow the foreigners out or some of the Palestinian people to get to safety. Sisi categorically rejected any possibility of that. And, help that Jordan could have had, which is one of our biggest allies in the region and friends with Israel, is also shutting off any discussions about any help right now, as they've called for 3 days of mourning and a day of rage. So what is going to depend upon it, or what's going to happen now is the real question, because if it makes the Arab side much more angry, then it's going to cause more people to come to the aid of the Palestinian side.
So it's looking like, at least from what we've heard, that the U.S. will provide more military aid to Israel. So 2 questions here. What level of coordination do you think is currently taking place between the U.S. and Israel when it comes to their military? But then also, is there any chance that something like the hospital blast and the devastation and the carnage we saw there, no matter who is responsible, would that cause the U.S. to pull back at all?
It very well could. I think that's actually an important point to bring up, because you've even seen along most of the Western media that they're giving so much coverage to this. And in a sense, it doesn't matter who did it, because it matters that the Palestinian people are in the middle and getting killed by no matter who did it, whether it was Hamas, whether it was the Israeli side. They're the ones that are suffering in this, and this just gross level of human suffering. The hospitals 4 of them apparently are now out of fuel, so they can't even operate as hospitals. The food, according to some sources, is going to run out in 4 days, in water. And so the suffering could go even higher. And Americans and the Western people typically don't, support something that's going to harm innocent civilians.